So, a fresh new week has arrived, and here on this channel, that means one thing and one thing only. Every weekend, or in this case I realize I'm a day late so it's coming out on a Monday, but still, I post an episode of this series we do called Your Take Not Mine, where I turn to you the viewers to give me your hottest NBA takes of the week based on what's going on at the time, and I then choose my favorite submissions and discuss them in a video. This week was a big one in the NBA world, as 4 teams that won their second round series punched their tickets to the conference finals, some shocking revelations were brought to light with some of the biggest stars, and some incredibly notable performances went down, so of course we have plenty to discuss. In order to submit your takes, I make a community post on either the day of or the day before the video, similar to the one that you see on your screen now, so if you want a chance to be featured in a future episode, be sure to stay on the lookout for that. Before we start though, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, PrizePicks. As the 2023 NBA playoffs continue on, PrizePicks is the best and easiest way to play daily fantasy to stay engaged on all of the excitement. All you have to do is pick between 2 and 6 players and the over or under on the projections, and you can win up to 20 times your original entry. Plus, PrizePicks is coming in hot with a new promotion where every single day during the NBA playoffs, one user will win a chance at becoming a millionaire. How it works is that one entry placed after 8 AM every day will be randomly selected. Then whoever gets selected will be given a 6-pick flex where the payouts include winning $1 million if all 6 hit, $80,000 if 5 hit, and $16,000 if 4 hit. So you still have plenty of time to get in on the action for your chance to be chosen. By going down to the link in the description of the video and using promo code reference when you sign up, you also get a deposit match bonus of up to $100. Once again, thank you to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's video. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. The first take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Pushing Memes, and he says that Joel Embiid has officially been crowned with the title of a playoff sinker. Well, the Sixers just got eliminated from Game 7 by the Boston Celtics after an incredibly hard-fought back-and-forth series. It all ended in the most deflating way imaginable. The 76ers kept it close in the first half, but in the second half, they came out looking like they were ready to head to Cancun, and the floodgates opened immediately to what became over a 30-point lead at one point. Joel Embiid in particular, especially after being named the MVP this season, was expected to come out extra motivated to be assertive and dominant on both ends, but the exact opposite happened, and now there are really tough questions that he will need to answer, along with plenty of valid criticism headed his way. This series was absolutely there for the taking, and for the most part this series Embiid was playing well prior to today. He had 3 straight games with 30 or more points, he was dominating the paint defensively, and when the Sixers went up 3-2 in the series, these questions didn't exist, but whether you think it's fair or not, the only thing that matters when judging these players at the absolute highest level is how they perform in the biggest moments, and Embiid could not have shrunk any more. In Game 6, he was having another solid game through 3 quarters, but in the final 5 minutes he couldn't even get the ball, he didn't score a point in those minutes, and watched a winnable game to clinch the series go out the window. Then in Game 7, he looked completely out of it offensively from the jump, not being able to find the touch on his jumper, getting sunned by Al Horford, and putting out a questionable effort on the floor. Again, this is the MVP of the league in a do-or-die situation, not leading by example out there when you're supposed to be willing to leave it on the line completely. When the lights are brightest, some players can embrace the moment and thrive, while others simply can't handle the pressure and crack, and to this point, Embiid has not proven that he can handle it. Sure, you can throw out there that he was dealing with his knee injury the whole series, as he has dealt with other injuries in prior playoff runs, but to put it simply, nobody wants to hear those excuses when you're out there on the floor. It's a put up or shut up world, and Embiid has yet to put up. The next take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Isaac, and he says that James Harden's window to win a championship is officially closed after this flameout. So, I just spent the last segment discussing Joel Embiid's disappointing flameout in detail, but that doesn't mean that James Harden gets off the hook for his disastrous showing. Harden started the series off as well as he possibly could have, as he carried the team to a Game 1 win with a game winner in that game. Then again in Game 4, he went off scoring 42 points, including another game-winning shot. Outside of that, though, the other 5 games he played were downright horrific at times, and that kind of roller coaster production isn't good enough in a 7-game series against arguably the best defensive team in the NBA. He scored over 40 points in those 2 games, but in the other 5 games, he didn't even crack 20 points a single time, and he shot a combined 16 of 63 from the field, which is about 25% shooting in those 5 games. The biggest stain on Harden's illustrious career has been the fact that late in series, he tends to crumble when the pressure is on, and once again in Game 7, Harden put up an all-time stinker. He scored just 9 points, shooting the ball 3 of 11 from the field, he was a turnover machine, he went back and forth between simply not even looking at the basket, and then at times he would force up just low-quality looks, and now he's entering this offseason at a crossroads. He has a player option for next year in his contract that he can opt out of to become a free agent. Most are expecting him to do that because he took a small pay cut this year, and it's also expected that he's going to be looking to be paid a max contract. Rumors have swirled all year long that he could have a homecoming in Houston with the Rockets, and they definitely have the cap space to pay him that much, but going to Houston definitely ends any hope of him competing for a title. He could still return to the 76ers, but at this point the Sixers would be foolish to pay him a max contract extension when he is clearly showing signs of slowing down, and he may be fully washed sooner rather than later. I think this year was truly the best shot Harden had at competing for a title since 2018, and he squandered it, so it might just be over, unfortunately. And finally, the last take we'll be discussing today comes to us from Jay Sue, and he says that the fact that the 4 teams left in the conference finals are all of the teams that were there in the bubble proves that the bubble was not a fluke. If you had a feeling of deja vu looking at the playoff bracket, it's because you have, in fact, seen this story before back in 2020. The Heat are playing the Celtics, and the Lakers are playing the Nuggets for a chance to go to the finals, and this has obviously sparked a lot of conversations about that 2020 bubble season. The narrative surrounding that year is that the basketball played in the bubble was quote-unquote fake compared to other playoff runs because there was no actual playoff atmosphere in the arena due to the fact that there were no fans in attendance, and because of it, a lot of the players had historic performances that otherwise probably wouldn't have produced at as high of a level. However, now that the same teams are back at this stage of the season, this has felt like vindication for the fans of these 4 teams, and while they do deserve to feel vindicated to a degree, I have to point out that the way these teams look now versus how they looked back then is almost completely different across the board outside of the stars leading the way, and a lot has changed since then, and they have all had plenty of time to retool for something like this. The only Lakers that were on that bubble team that are still there are LeBron and Anthony Davis. The only Nuggets still there from that run are Jokic, Murray, and Porter Jr. The only Heat players from that run that are still contributing to this year's run are Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, and some of Duncan Robinson, since Tyler Hero is out, and the Celtics admittedly have the most guys still on the team from that run, but they too have retooled over half of their roster. It's not like these are teams that just ran back the same squads that they had in the bubble. They've all made considerable changes in order to get back to this point, so from my perspective, bringing up the bubble has zero correlation to anything that's happening now. And with that being said, that's all I have for you today. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below what you think about the takes we discussed. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.